Hello, everybody, and welcome to this lesson on chromosomes. You are going to need a piece of paper and 4 colors. They could be pencil crayons, pens, markers, highlighters, whatever. You're going to need to be able to indicate some different chromosomes with some different colors. So pause the video, go get those things now, and then come back. Okay, I hope you have those things. We're going to talk today about chromosomes. I'm going to show you some different forms of chromosomes, and I'm going to show you how chromosomes can result in quite a lot of diversity within a species. So just something to make sure everybody knows before I start is you can have a chromosome that looks like this. This is an unreplicated chromosome. It is what the chromosomes will look like in your body cells before duplicating in interphase, so before mitosis or meiosis. And then right at the end of interphase, right before mitosis or meiosis, this chromosome makes a copy of itself, but it's still attached, that copy. So this is called a replicated or a duplicated chromosome. It's important to note that both of these are referred to as one chromosome. Okay, it has the same genetic information. So here it just has one copy of the genetic information. Here there's 2 copies of the genetic information. Okay, so I hope that's clear. In your workbook, you can find this picture. This is page 5 in your workbook. This is called a karyotype. It is a picture of all of the chromosomes in a cell. So you can see that there's 22 pairs that are numbered. Those are called autosomes. Those are the non-sex linked chromosomes. Over here, there are X's and Y's. These are sex chromosomes. Typically, you have either an XX or an XY. This person has 2 X's and a Y, which is indicates a chromosomal abnormality, which sounds really bad, but it just means like it's a difference in chromosomes. This can happen. You can get 3 copies of something by accident. Sometimes it's no big deal. Sometimes it can cause certain disorders, and sometimes it causes a pregnancy to become unviable, meaning that usually that fetus would not live. This one is called Klinefelter syndrome, and it's not a big deal at all. So on here, you'll notice that I colored one in pink and one green. That's because it's important to realize that you get 1 copy of each chromosome from your mom and 1 copy from your dad. And I'm saying mom and dad, I mean your biological mother, the source of the egg that became you, and biological father, the source of the sperm that became you. They might not be the people that you call mom and dad, but I'm going to say mother and father, meaning your biological mother and father. Okay, so you have 23 pairs of chromosomes. They're numbered from longest all the way down to shortest. And each of these chromosomes has 1 copy from biological mom, 1 copy from biological dad. And even more important, well, just as important to remember is that they got 1 of their chromosomes from their biological mom and 1 from their biological dad. So we're going to see how many different combinations can be made, just going back to your parental level, but think as well, going back to your grandparent level, there's a lot of chance for diversity as well. So I'm going to show you what I mean by that. So we're going to draw some cells right now. I'm going to erase this. So everyone has 1 chromosome from mom and 1 chromosome from dad. Okay, so we're going to draw a cell that is from, your bio mother, and we're going to draw a cell from your biological father. So go ahead and draw those on your paper. Okay. Now, your mother and father each received a set of chromosomes, 1 from their mother. So I'm going to draw my mother's chromosome. Let's just look at chromosome 1, okay, the longest chromosome in your cell. Of course, this would be in the nucleus. This is a mother nucleus. So that's your grandmother on your mother's side for chromosome 1. And then I'm going to give your maternal grandfather a blue chromosome. So these are both copies of chromosome 1. So if I'm looking at my karyotype again, see how everyone has a copy from their mom and their dad. So one copy of one from mom, one copy of one from dad. So that's what I've done here for this nucleus of your mother. Okay, so now let's look at your father. He's gonna have a chromosome that came from his mother. We're gonna draw that in purple. And a chromosome that came from his father, which we're gonna draw in green. Okay, so now what happens in meiosis? Remember, meiosis is the process that splits cells into gametes, so into eggs and sperm. So in the first step of meiosis, sorry, I skipped a step. In interphase, these duplicate. So can you please duplicate the chromosomes that you're drawing on your paper? And please don't forget, you can always pause the video if you need a second to draw a bit longer than me. Okay, or if you even just need to replay something I said, you can do that. Okay, so there, my mother's cells have duplicated. My green marker might die on us. Don't do it, green marker. Okay, so there we go. I have replicated my DNA. Now it's ready to undergo meiosis 1. So in meiosis, the first step, remember learning about these little spindle fibers. So your chromosomes line up. Of course, you have 23 pairs, not just one pair. And then those spindle fibers pull them apart into separate cells. So now all of a sudden I have 2 nuclei, 2 cells, and one has that replicated chromosome from my mom's mom, and one has that replicated chromosome from my mom's dad. You don't have to do the best coloring job, you just got to see the colors. Okay, so same with my father. Oops. Okay, we can use purple. So my father, half of the cells, the daughter cells from meiosis 1 have his mother's genes, and half have his father's genes. Okay, that's meiosis 1. Do you remember what happens next? It's okay if you don't, because I'm going to show you. In meiosis 2, those cells also undergo a division. So you have those spindle fibers coming in again and pulling these apart. These are called sister chromatids. That's not super important for us, but it gets pulled apart. So now each of these has an unreplicated chromosome. So your mother will have half of her eggs with the genes from the chromosome 1 from her mother. Half of her eggs will have the chromosome from her father. Your dad's sperm, 50% of it will have the chromosome from his mother, and 50% of it will have the chromosomes from his father. Okay, so you can see now that there are eggs, there's some variety in the egg cells, and there's also variety in the sperm cell. Now, I have drawn a very simplified drawing because your mother doesn't just have 50% eggs with her mom's genes and 50% with her dad's, but there's actually something called the law of independent assortment. I'm going to write that up here. Law of independent assortment. Remember, you don't just have one pair of chromosomes, you have 23 pairs of chromosomes. So after meiosis 1, your mother's, the cells that are kind of the in-between daughter cells, they might have a copy of chromosome 1 from her father, but they might have a copy of chromosome 2 from her father, okay? So there's a 50-50 chance for all 23 chromosomes, which one they're gonna get. So what that means is that for egg and sperm combinations, you actually have two, because there's two parents, to the power of 23 combinations of chromosome pairs. So imagine like flipping a coin 23 times. It's possible for, there are a total of 8,388,608 different combinations of eggs, and 2 to the power of 23 different combinations of sperm. So what happens here, because of this law of independent assortment, is that you can end up with any different combination of your grandparents' chromosomes. And you're going to do an activity after this video that will show you that. So you are going to end up with one of these eggs from your mother. It's just chance which one. And one of these sperm from your father. Okay, the sperm will fertilize the egg. And then in your cells, after your cells develop, you are going to end up with a copy of chromosome 1, and this one came from one of your grandparents on your mother's side, and another copy of chromosome 1, and this came from one of your grandparents on your father's side. And you can have, if you're into math and probabilities, now you're getting 2 to the power of 23 combinations squared. And that ends up to be about 70 trillion different combinations. So this is why nobody looks exactly identical to their siblings unless they are twins. Sorry about that. So you are one in 70 trillion different possibilities. So this is why sexual reproduction and the process of meiosis are it leads to such an amazing diverse species. So all humans look much different from each other, and that is because even when we're related to each other like siblings or like cousins, we all get slightly different variations on the genes from our parents. So I hope that made sense. I hope that was interesting. If you have any questions, please ask me in class. Now you can move on to the next part of this lesson.